So here is the information on the Shiloh Indian Mounds. You are entering the largest surviving prehistoric site in the Tennessee River Valley and one of the least disturbed areas of earthen mounds in the eastern United States. The Chickasaw homeland. The removal. In 1837, our Chickasaw people were forcibly removed to Indian Territory. Our ancestors anticipated a society without interference from the federal government or intruders. While the forced sale of our lands in Mississippi provided some monetary support for our removal, it did not prevent the loss of loved ones. Our families were met with starvation, disease, military force, federal misappropriation of funds, thieves, and death. Our removal lasted until the turn of the 20th century and is the most traumatic event in our history. There's the Chickasaw National Capital at Tishomingo, Oklahoma. Picture of that. One of the things that is really good now is the oral history. Universities, archaeologists, and historians are starting to pay closer attention to the oral history of tribes. And that is real good because there's a lot of information that was always ignored because of the refusal to accept the native oral history as something valid to go by. And so there's a lot of information that now is learned through oral history, especially in dealing with something like the mounds. And also with the mounds, because a lot of the oral history has been forgotten through the years, of course, but with the mounds you have, if you can't ignore and should not deny or reject the biblical history of high places, the purpose of high places. But what's interesting, these brown are house mounds where I guess they built houses on top of these mounds, they're thinking. So this could have been like they said a community where they lived, but these could be like what's described in the Bible as high places where they worshiped on. And also this, when they worshiped on the high places in the Bible, it was a very immoral living situation and religion. But what's interesting is the mounds out here east in southeastern United States and the Mississippi Valley, they're saying that the people lived on top of the mounds, and when they've studied inside the mounds, they seem to be full of like burial stuff. Out in the southwest, you have the Membrees natives, and they lived in pit houses. They dug into the ground and lived in the ground. Some of the Mandans were the Mandans seemed to be like lived in the ground and also had like earthen house structures made out of houses that looked like hills. The Mandans are very interesting. the Mimbres out in the southwest. And so it's interesting. Out west, you had them living in pit houses in the ground, and they're saying out here in the southeast that they lived above the ground and built these mounds and lived on top of them. So it's an interesting difference of living habitat in different parts of America, of the early tribes.